Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Saturday, February the 1st. And welcome to the commentary and welcome to the month of February as we begin, I guess, the second month of 2025. And we begin what, the third week? Not even that, 2 weeks. I guess it'll be 2 weeks on Tuesday of the very active, very busy Trump administration. Before we get into the commentary, just a couple of thoughts. I mean, this air crash in Philadelphia is just a heartbreak. Apparently, it was a young girl who was being flown back to Mexico. She had just received medical treatment at a hospital, and she was flying back with her mother. A couple of doctors, I guess, in the plane, and the two pilots. It was a Mexican. Everybody in the plane was Mexican. They were flying her back home. So what a terrible tragedy. 6 people killed in an air crash that just makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, the plane apparently was in the air for not even 5 minutes before it crashed. So it's, eventually they'll figure it out, but it's just an absolutely horrible story. Our prayers, of course, with the families of everybody in that plane and people on the ground. Apparently there are many people injured on the ground as well. Then you have, of course, the helicopter crash in DC. That looks even more strange all the time. So anyway, I'm sure the smart people will get around to explaining what happened, but the terrible human loss is just so sad to hear about. Well, I have a post over at the American Thinker today talking about the Democrats. The Democrats are looking for a new leader. The Democrat National Committee, that is. Both parties have these national committees, and they have a head of the committee, and this is, of course, sort of an organizational type structure. There aren't any candidates in these committees. They're just, people who are sort of the managers, if you will, the people who put together the campaigns and all of that. And I wrote a post over at the American Thinker today saying that the Democrats did not lose the election in 2024 for a lack of money or a lack of database or lack of, candidates. They lost the election primarily because of message. They simply did not have a winning message to explain to the American people, especially after the failure of the Biden administration. Most people thought it was a pretty bad failure, and frankly, a lackluster campaign from Kamala Harris, a candidate who never had a press conference, could never really tell you why she was running for anything other than vote for me and let's make history. Well, it takes a little bit more than that to win, as we saw with Kamala Harris. But anyway, the Democrats, they got together, and now they have found a new DNC chairman. And that is a gentleman. His name is Ken Martin, and he's from Minnesota. I saw the speech that he gave accepting the position. Seems like a pretty nice guy. I thought he was a congressman when I first saw him, because I thought he was the congressman from Minnesota who ran for president, but that's somebody else. But anyway, he gave a speech, and he recognized that the party had lost the election pretty bad, and that we have to really, really now fight against Trump. We'll see. It seems to me that the DNC, and that's what my post is all about, hasn't quite figured out yet what their problem is. It's not lack of money or database, or that they hate Trump, or that they didn't hate Trump enough, or that they didn't tell us that Trump was a racist or Hitler or whatever. They lost the election because he had a lousy message. And so far, I haven't really heard anything from the DNC to convince me, and probably many people, that they have a message that will convince Americans to vote for them. We'll see. Now, the Trump administration obviously has to prove itself. They have to succeed, and they have to score points, as they say. I mean, nothing is a given in politics. And if the Trump administration doesn't succeed and doesn't put up points and doesn't put up trophies, as they say, then yes, of course, the Democrats will have an opening in 26, primarily in the House. I don't think the Senate is as likely to flip in 2026 just because of the people running. But, 2028, of course, would be a presidential year, and it's all up to the Trump administration. If, on the other hand, Trump can put up some successes and can put up some trophies and some points, as they say in sports. And I think it's going to be very tough for the Democrats because I don't really see a Democrat on a national basis. The problem the Democrats have right now is that none of their candidates can really compete with Trump. Trump is out there. I mean, he's got the whole front page to himself. He's got the presidency, obviously. He's got the Senate. Pretty soon he's going to have a cabinet, and he's going to be forefront. And not only is he going to be forefront, but he puts himself forefront every single day with this new idea and this new idea, and he's going to do this and he's going to do that. And that's a tough thing to keep up with, especially when you don't really have anybody right now. I mean, who are they going to come up with? The governor of California? I don't think he would be a good candidate given what's happened out there. The governor of Illinois? I don't see that. The governor of New York? I mean, that's even less likely than the other two. So who do they really have? Maybe the governor of Pennsylvania. Maybe that's a key right there. Maybe that's somebody who could do it. He's a pretty good campaigner, pretty good candidate, but 4 years is a long time. But anyway, the Democrats have a new DNC chairman, Mr. Ken Martin. We wish him well, but they've got to change their message. They got to get away from the identity politics, the emphasis on racism all the time, and they got to start talking to the middle class and to the American working people. They're not talking to them. They're talking to, groups. They're not talking to the country on the whole. And that's the reason why they're losing elections. So check out my post over at the American Thinker today. I've got a post coming out Sunday morning. And this is based on an article by the name of Joseph Wilfonson, Wilfson. Never heard of the gentleman before, but he's a media critic over on Fox News Digital. But he's got a really interesting article, very long article, but really interesting about how more and more people in the media are coming to terms with the reality that they protected Biden in 2024, 2023, to even 2020. How they protected Biden, whatever the impulse was, whether it was because they hated Trump or because whatever, but they ended up protecting Biden, and in doing so, really made it very difficult for the Democrats to win. And look, I remember this whole conversation going back to 2020. I remember back in 2020 when Biden ran a campaign basically from the basement of his house and didn't come out, would come out once a week to buy ice cream, didn't really do press conferences, would only speak to friendly reporters. I mean, it was pathetic to watch. And then once he becomes president, then he only does, press conference here and there. He goes months without a press conference. And when he has a press conference, he's basically reading what they put in front of him. And I think a lot of people in the media are beginning to realize now that they protected him. And in protecting him, not only did they hurt the Democrats, but they hurt themselves, which is more important. They hurt the credibility of the media. And that's not, that's not something that I say with joy, because I think we have to have a good media in the United States. I believe very strongly in a good media. I believe in a responsible media because the country needs that. The country needs to be able to turn on the TV and believe what they're telling us. And unfortunately, right now, the credibility of the media is way down. And I believe one of the reasons that it's way down is because of the way they protected Biden and the way that they went after Trump with so many of these ridiculous things that they would accuse Trump of, like Russia and these other things that I think in the long run ended up hurting not just the media as a whole, but the careers of people in the media. I mean, like Jim Acosta, we just heard about him going out of the business. Chuck Todd, I don't know exactly why he left. I understand that he was going to leave anyway. That's what I hear. But, he was another one of those who got all caught up in the anti-Trump stuff. So, the media suffered a great deal from its obsession with Trump. And I think now we find ourselves in a situation where the media has a lot of repairing to do. Their credibility has a lot of repairing to do. So check out my post coming out Sunday morning. The one today, of course, is over at the American Thinker, americanthinker.com. It's on the right-hand side. The name of the article is this one is, I forgot the name of it right now, but anyway, it's on the right-hand side. It's about the Democrats. That's right. It's about the Democrats. I was going to tell you the name of the other one, but that was from the day before. That was from the day before. Well, anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for catching up with the commentary. Thank you for your comments. And everybody have a great weekend. Remember, on Sunday night, we're going to be talking about the border, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Mexico and all these tariffs and all of that going on. Pretty exciting times right now. Pretty frightening and exciting times, to say the least. Have a great day, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas.